Welcome to my dad's podcast. It is called Up and Adam. Oh, and my mom's on it too.
All right, greetings, fellow humans. Welcome back into, I guess, non-humans. You're also welcome. I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. Damn it. I already messed it up. Welcome into episode 6 of the Up and Adam podcast with Stephanie, the new title. The new imaging. I don't know if anyone caught that. The new imaging now has the Up and Adam logo, and then in the corner, small dots with Stephanie.
That's probably why I didn't even notice.
You're not the most observant person in the world, but don't worry about all that because we have a lot of fun things that we want to discuss with you today. First and foremost, we appreciate everybody for listening. You can find us on all of the major podcasting platforms. We post links on our Facebook page, our Instagram. Find us there. Do you know what we're called? Do you know our page names yet, Stephanie? I ask you this each week.
Up and Adam podcast.
Up and Adam podcast. You can find us on Instagram and on our Facebook page as well. Do you check those out?
Just the Facebook page.
Okay.
I still don't have Instagram.
And nor do you need that. That's way too much for you, I think.
I agree.
That'd be doing too much. So you can find us there and ask us questions, respond to our posts, tell us what you want to talk about, tell us that you love the show. Although, Steph, I didn't tell you this actually, but numbers were down this week.
Yikes. Did somebody give us a 1-star too?
I don't know. I haven't actually checked that. I should check that. Has anyone given us a review? Maybe we can check while we're live on the air here.
I think the only reviews I saw were ones that you had with your other partner. That didn't sound right, but your other podcast partner.
Sure didn't sound right. Let me check out the Up and Adam podcast page here. Yeah, I don't. No, nothing new. Nothing new at all. So we need to get people on there and give us some reviews.
Can we review ourselves?
You could. You just have to. Yeah, I guess you could. What would you? Let's write your review for our show right now, live on the air. What would you write in for the review, Stephanie?
Ooh, just about me or as in general?
It's all about you, apparently.
Well, no, because I would say that you were great, but I'm not so good.
I mean, if you had, we're a show, we're a team, like it or not, for some of us.
Although they do say they tune in to listen to me. That's how I won.
That is how you won. That is how the pie ended up in my face. I did get some commentary on that. A lot of people are curious why you took a running start, and there was a bit of a wind up, is what I've been led to believe. And I don't know if you want to address that off the top of the show here.
It was my one chance to get you with the pie in the face. I mean, you got to do it up.
Okay. Well, congratulations. The pie certainly was in the face.
And by the way, people, he was very cranky after that.
I don't think that's true. I saw you write that someplace. I don't think that. I mean, I'm just my normal level of cranky.
On a Sunday.
I'm not a Sunday person.
He hates Sundays.
Not a Sunday fan.
So that means he has to go to work.
There we
Monday.
go. I'm not a Sunday fan at all. And so I think my normal level of crankiness.
Okay. It seemed like it might have been a little bit directed towards me and getting you with the pie in the face.
No, I knew that was coming. I'd already planned. Did you do anything else that would have annoyed me that day?
I'm sure I did.
Well, then maybe you should just broaden your scope of options.
I just think that the pie started it, and then I probably annoyed you after that.
No, again, I knew the pie was coming, so it's not like I was sitting on the couch and you hit me with a pie in the face.
Oh, that'd be great.
You wouldn't do that because then you have to clean up the couch, and I know you wouldn't. You'd have to be outside with a hose and a blanket and some form of a mop or something to clean some stuff up. So I'm not concerned about that. But the other breaking news this week is we talked a lot about phobias, and then lo and behold, there's a photograph of you with somebody that was clearly in an Easter Bunny costume. I assume, and that wasn't the real Easter Bunny. Is that right?
That was not the real Easter Bunny.
Okay.
That I know of.
Would you like to share more about this? So I'll try that again. So there was some information. You were sitting next to an Easter Bunny. Previously, you had led us all to believe that you had a phobia of said animal costumed type people, and there you were next to one. This would be a great opportunity for you to share with us how that happened and how you felt about it.
So I was having a brunch
Of course you were.
at our house.
Why wouldn't you have a brunch at our house? What day of the week was this, by the way?
Friday.
There we are.
Anyways, it was for my Family Fit people, and I was having an Easter egg hunt for all the little kids that normally come to class who are between the age of like 2 and 4. And so one of the ladies, she's like the town costume lady, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Just really quickly. Is that an official title?
Well, she's Mrs. Claus at Christmas time, and then at Easter time, she's in charge of the egg hunt in town. So she's the bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, I think she's Bo Peep or somebody at the Easter. Anyways, she has an Easter bunny costume, and so she said to me, instead of bringing a dish to share, could I be the Easter bunny? And I wasn't really thinking, and I was like, sure, that'd be great to go with the Easter egg hunt for the little kids. The little kids are going to love it. Not really thinking that I was going to have to be near the Easter bunny. Well, then she came to the house and had the costume in a box, and she was like, I need to change into the costume. And our only bedroom is, all of our bedrooms are upstairs. So she changed in, but she couldn't get down the stairs by herself. So I went up to get her, not realizing like, oh my goodness, she's going to be in a bunny costume and I have to actually like help her. So I helped her down the stairs, and as we were going down the stairs, I was thinking to myself, I did not think this through. Like, I am next to the Easter bunny. So then all the kids sat with her after the egg hunt, and I was like, oh my goodness, if all these little kids could do it, I should probably at least try. So I sat next to her and had somebody take a picture so that I could prove that I was working on my phobias.
How'd you feel about that?
It wasn't as scared as I thought I would be.
Okay.
And it might have been because I saw the person before they went into the costume, and then like literally saw her put the head on.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah. No, why is it weird?
I'm not going there.
I understand.
Anyways, so
brunch.
So yeah, I mean, it was weird, but I got over it.
This is where we're different. So my key takeaways from that story were brunch on a Friday, the town costume lady, which I wonder if that's an official position. Can I run for that? Are you elected to it? Although I would hate that job. I would be good at that job.
Yeah, you should have been the UCF mascot.
I would set the kids straight. Santa would have some feedback for people. I'd be killer at that job. Is it open for debate?
I don't think so. I don't think she gets paid for that job. She just does it for fun. She said that she used to go around town right before Easter and just like randomly go to different neighborhoods and walk around in her bunny costume just to make the kids happy.
Well, that story took a surprising turn, but all right. So that's an update on your phobia. Some other people had wrote in. What's the right?
Wrote in, I think. Some
other people wrote in to tell us their phobias. There was a palmetto bug nominee.
I can totally get that.
So if you're not from Florida, I think the palmetto bug is native to Florida. I don't know that it's elsewhere. I'm sure it is now that I say that out loud, but I don't know that many people, if you listen to us and you happen to live in the Northern California market, you might not know what a palmetto bug is.
It's a roach, or it looks just like a roach. But I don't even know if they have roaches here. I haven't seen them.
I think they have different kinds of roaches. It's a roach, but it flies, I believe, is the difference.
Right.
So think of a flying roach. It does sound. It's a pretty miserable experience when one is near and around you. So there was a phobia there. And somebody else had an interesting phobia. I mean, it's a good one. I can't argue with it. Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Not one I would have thought of.
Well, I mean, you're big on the sleep, so I would have thought this would have come across your mind. Well, take that back. I thought maybe at some point you would have considered this.
Do you remember you're supposed to be nice?
Something I did with me?
Just now.
What did I do?
You said, I take that back after you said that I would have thought of it.
Well, yeah, because you were sleeping. Why?
No, meaning I wouldn't have thought of that because I wasn't smart.
See, I don't know how you get. See, that's where you just take liberties with what you hear.
I'm just saying this is why people say these things about you.
Brunch on a Friday. Okay. So that's an update on phobias. Nobody else wrote in with any phobias. So as far as we're concerned, those are the only 4 phobias in the entire world.
Yeah, but the palmetto bug one made me think about, and I was talking to our daughter about it, how when she was younger, there was actually one in our car and she flipped out. Well, I think I was driving. Yeah, I was driving. And she was screaming and crying, and we literally had to pull the car over, get her out of the car, and Adam had to pretend like he had killed it, although we never found it. And we just told her that we never actually found it in the car, and she did not like that.
I don't think she had much recollection of the events anyway to be concerned about it. But no, I did not find that bug. We weren't sure if that bug actually existed.
Yeah, that's true.
So that although bugs are interesting, we've had some rough goes of bugs, creatures, if you will, in vehicles. Do you remember the Nissan Murano? So interestingly enough, we had a Nissan Murano, and you, I believe, were taking that car primarily around. Yes. And we had a bunch of DVD players that we'd gone through because the kids like to watch movies, and so we had a lot of DVDs in the car. And I remember you coming home and saying that there was a mess in your car. You keep cleaning it up, and Addison, must be doing something back there, so on and so forth. And then lo and behold, we discovered that there were some bite marks on
the air conditioning vents.
There's that, and there was on the DVD case.
That's right.
And so I don't know how we best determined that we had an issue, but we called an exterminator. And he came out and gave us a rat trap. And
didn't we try on our own first?
I don't know that we
trap
did.
It?
No,
I thought we
tried to trap a rat.
I thought we bought mouse traps.
God, no.
Originally, we thought it was just like a little mouse.
I mean, I hoped it was a little mouse, but I mean, I didn't. What am I, like the crocodile hunter? Why am I going after rats?
I thought we did try and do it on our own, and it kept getting the cheese or whatever we left for it, but it never got trapped.
I'm not sure what story this is, but that did not happen here. But we did leave a trap in the vehicle. And the world's biggest rat was dead in our front seat about 2 hours later. And
the next day, I drove the car to turn it in and get a new one.
That's kind of what she does. So we've had some bad luck there. So those are the phobias that we had. And then quickly we'll get into our segments for the week, Stephanie. But did you want to make any updates to your heist group? We're all curious.
No, I'm done heisting.
All right, so you're done heisting.
I'm retired.
But you're not done brunching.
Correct.
Fantastic.
My dad tells my mom what's going on in the world. This should go well.
All right, some interesting things on the interwebs this week, Stephanie. We're very different, you and I.
Very.
And you have your things, I have mine. I think it's a man-woman thing, perhaps. And so there's a few stories. One that I know caught your eye this week that you want to share with me. I'm not sure I find this very funny. You found this story hysterical, and so I will let you share it with all. I think it's just cruel and potentially rude, even. But Stephanie, the floor is yours. I'll let you share the story and tell us all about what you got there.
I kind of wish I had tried this on you first.
Do you?
And to see how
I don't think it would have worked.
To see how far you would have gotten.
No, I don't.
Would you have even gotten out of the house?
Well, I don't want to. So I would have gotten out of the house. I saw some of what's on that list that you're going to share, and I think I would have quickly been like, wait, what? Just some of them. There's a few that actually are really good, and I could see me being confused about. But there's a few on there that there's no way I would have fallen for that.
So, all as women, we sometimes send our husbands to the grocery store with a shopping list. And as you know, I sent Adam once with a shopping list to go to Target, and he came home with a new car instead.
Are we sure that wasn't on the list?
The new car? I'm positive they don't sell those at Target. Huh. In fact, he never made it to Target. But anyways, so some women are trying this list to see how well their husbands are actually paying attention. And so it's a grocery list, but there are things on the list that you couldn't possibly ever
the version of the story I had heard was that it started because this lady was annoyed that her husband wasn't doing something, or she was doing some work or something and he wasn't helping, and so this was her way of like getting back at him.
I read it as it was that her husband never paid attention.
Well, that might have been
talked,
it too.
And so she was just trying.
Oh, poor guy.
So anyways, the list has certain items on it that you can't ever get at the grocery store, which I will read. And
well, why can't? Well, I mean, it's like you can't ever get them. Some of them don't
exist.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They don't exist.
All right, we'll explain.
So the list is 3% milk.
Okay, so that's one where I probably would have been like 3% milk. I know there's a 2%. Do they make it 3? Because I might have fallen for that one. It would have taken me a minute or two. Because why did they make it 2% milk? So I probably would have potentially thought that might be a thing.
Okay. Seedless strawberries.
Again, I don't like strawberries. I was allergic to them at some point in my life, and so I have no strawberry experience to speak of. So I absolutely would have been like, "Excuse me, sir, where can I find the seedless strawberries?" That I would have fallen for that one.
Fat-free hummus. Is hummus not fat? I thought it was fat-free anyways, no?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't. Yeah, I probably would have fallen for that one too. I'm not a big hummus person.
Wheat Thins, the ones in the blue box.
Well, see, that's just wrong because that's actually sneakily. Again, I would have fallen for that because there's no other details other than the ones in the blue box.
And they really are Wheat Thins.
And knowing you women, you never actually give and especially you never
true.
actually give the right amount of like detail or information. So you never know what anything's called or what. Last night we were at dinner and the kids like to have this specific drink that they make. It's like
well, now I know the name
it's
of it.
Sprite with some sort of blue flavoring and there's Swedish fish in it. And the kids just die for this thing. And so we order one. Aiden takes after his dad, just downs his first drink like nobody's business. and then the waitress I think comes by a second time. And so she's like, excuse me, ma'am, can we get one more of those blue things? Addison's just beside herself, embarrassed because you're just like the drink. It was the blue one, and no one's clearly understanding you, but you just keep saying the blue one over and over again. And luckily, the lady at some point, light bulbs, went off, and she realized what it was. So I could absolutely see you writing down like the ones in the blue box, and me being like, okay, whatever.
And I accidentally really meant like the yellow box.
Well, that also. I probably would have brought you home the yellow box, by the way.
Unsour cream.
See, that's where you would have gotten me. Yeah, I at that point I would have been like, okay, something's not right here. The unsour cream is where you would have had me. Now, if you had, brought you like cream, in parentheses, not the sour cream, then you might have tricked me because is that like a heavy whipping cream? Is that like cream or creamer for coffee, even though you don't drink coffee? So that's where you would have maybe. That's where I would have figured it out.
Okay. Next one, Diet Coke, in parentheses. You might have to ask because it's new. No,
I wouldn't have fallen for that. I would not have fallen for Diet Coke. That's where this lady went wrong. I don't know. Do we know at one point her husband actually like figured this stuff out or no?
So the original one that I saw was that he actually went to the grocery store, and once he was in the grocery store, he realized that these things did not exist.
Okay.
I have a friend who tried this. And her husband got in the car and texted her and was like, not nice, like not in a mean way, but it was like, what on earth is this list? What are you trying to do? And she was like, I just wanted to see if you were paying attention.
What's wrong with you people that's what you think is funny? That you're going to say you're a loving husband is going to drive all the way to the store to help provide for his family and buy the groceries that are needed for the family and the children. And that's the kind of crap you're going to pull. So what's wrong with you people?
I would not do this because you would never go to the grocery store again after that. And I would never, that would be me, definitely wasting the help that
it's not that I wouldn't go to the grocery. I would come home with a TV. I'd stop at Best Buy on the way home and be like, okay, well, you know what's on my list? 75-inch.
After this, if I ever asked you to go to the grocery store again,
I would still go.
Like, oh, you would?
Yeah, but I would have come home from that trip with a TV.
Oh.
And that's how I would have gotten even on that one, right? Or if there are actually real things. So I don't know if that was the exhaustive list or if there was more things on the list.
There's two more.
I mean real things.
Oh.
Like, did she sprinkle in like real stuff with this, or was that the entire list? Because if there was real things on there, you're getting nothing on the way home. I'm not picking anything up.
I don't think there was anything
okay.
on the real list. But hopefully if he called her and said like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Hopefully she then had a real list to like text him while he was there. I mean, he might as well.
Okay, because I'm sure he was all like, great, send me the real list now, honey. Be happy to pick all that up. Brunch.
So the next thing on the list is mellow cheese, which I would have been like, ooh, they sell mellow mushroom cheese there? I really miss mellow mushroom, by the way.
I do miss mellow mushroom. I wouldn't. Yeah, that's another silly one. I wouldn't have fallen for that.
And the last one, organic Pop-Tarts.
That's interesting. I might have fallen for that one just because everything they make organic these days, like there's organic Michelob Ultra now, right? There's organic beer. So I probably would have fallen for that one too, and at least checked it out. And not realized it wasn't a real thing. I probably would have just been like, hey, they don't, they were all out, or they don't make those, or that's all I got. Although Pop-Tarts are interesting. Like, you remember my favorite Pop-Tarts, right? You do this to me too.
I don't bring the right one.
Well, that too. Pet peeve. I might do one of these a show. I'm not even planning these out. Pop-Tarts come in a pack of 2, right? Yes. You open the silver little packet of gold, and inside are 2 Pop-Tarts. So one, I don't understand the psychopaths who don't warm them up, put them in the toaster.
Well, I put mine in the toaster.
I know, but I know people who don't. I don't understand you people. But B,
our daughter does not.
Again, there's 2 in the pack. You know what you're required to do? Eat them both.
But if you read the side, the serving size is 1.
Eat them both.
He absolutely hates when I only eat 1 and I put the other one in a Ziploc bag back into the box.
Unbelievable. When you have Pop-Tarts, you're expecting to have 2.
I don't have Pop-Tarts very often.
Neither do I. But when you do the same thing with toaster strudels.
We haven't had those in a long time either. But yes, because the serving size is 1.
So you just listen to everything that's written down. You listen to?
No,
of course not.
They're bad for you. So I try to not eat so much.
How many chocolate goldfish did you just inhale in the kitchen?
I did have a lot of.
Did you listen to the serving size? Were you counting them out on the box there?
31.
You had 31 of them?
No, I didn't count.
Have both of the Pop-Tarts. Do not leave me one solo Pop-Tart, because it's okay as long as if it's the first pack and there's still 2 packs in there. I'm mildly annoyed, but I'll get past it because I'll just grab the 2-pack and eat it like a normal human. But when it's the last one in there and I'm like, you know what, I haven't had a Pop-Tart since like 1995, and I open up the box and there's just 1 in a Ziploc bag, somebody just get out of my way. I mean, oh my goodness.
It would not be good if the Pop-Tart's been in there since 1995.
It might as well
It'd probably still be.
Because if you're only going to leave 1 in there, you might as well just leave it in there. So, okay. Well, here's another thing. So I appreciate you helping out the men of the world and sharing the fact that you women are vindictive and would make a fake list to send us to the grocery store. Isn't that cute? But I have something for you.
Okay.
And so I found this article and I read these things and I recognize that these are all actually true. And so I'm here to help, Stephanie. I haven't shared this list with you. And you may have questions, so I will stop as it happens. And other women may have questions as well. These are men opening up about facts about dude stuff that women just don't know or just don't understand.
Oh boy!
So I'm gonna read these facts.
Are these appropriate things?
I will filter out the inappropriate ones. Correct. I'm not my first time. So the first one is greetings, right? And it's about a nod. So when you see a guy you don't know or kind of know, but you don't really know well enough to walk by, you just give a subtle nod of the head, which they give in return. So there's the man nod. Women don't do that because you have to stop and fake talk to each other.
Yeah.
Men just kind of get a little side nod and that's it, right? So that's how that communication goes.
I kind of wish women did that.
No, you don't. Okay. This one you probably won't understand. This is urinal etiquette.
Yeah, I don't understand the urinal.
Okay, there's an unwritten rule of bathroom urinal etiquette that you've got to teach. I've had to teach this to Aiden in certain situations, right? When a man enters a public restroom at the urinal, you are to occupy every other urinal from the potential next urinating man. Meaning, if there are 5 urinals, the prime units are 1, 3, and 5 if they're available. And 2 and 4 should only be used if 1, 3, and 5 are occupied.
So you don't just wait if 1, 3, and 5 are occupied? You would still go to 2 and 4?
If 2 and 4 are open and you gotta go, then you gotta hit 2 and 4.
Okay.
But 1, 3, and 5 are the prime. Now here's the problem. Not every man figured this out. Apparently this wasn't. I don't know. They didn't go to this.
Not in the man handbook.
They didn't go to the class today. This was taught, I guess. And so sometimes you get in there and there's a dude at 2 and a dude at 3, and like, okay, now you got to go to 5. But when somebody gets in and messes up the order or they're taking too long, that's when things get all kinds of out of control. 1, 3, and 5. Those are your prime positions. That's where you want to be.
So my question is, you said I was going to have questions. Why don't they just spread the urinals apart more on the wall? And second, I think I asked you this before. Some urinals have like a wall-ish thingy in between.
Sometimes there's a divider.
If there's a divider, do you still do the 1, 3, and 5 position?
Yeah, you should. You should always stick to the 1, 3, and 5.
Okay.
Even if there's a divider. Dividers are becoming really rare, and also odd-numbered urinals are becoming very rare. So at work, I have a 3-piece. I have a 1, 2, and 3. So 1 and 3 are the prime positions, right? But 3 is the little one, the one that's kind of closer to the ground. And so it's often a problem because, the things just happen there, right? So it gets problematic, right? You want to get right in the middle there. Now you got 2 on the side. You don't want that. You want to go all the way to the left. That's probably the prime spot. So the prime spot in that one is 1.
So my question is,
Sure.
So let's say 1 and 3 are being used and you really don't want to go to 2. Do some guys ever go into the stall and just go?
I have seen it happen before. I'm not a fan of the stall. You don't... like phobias, public restrooms are probably the worst place on earth. There are very few places on earth I would less rather be than a public restroom. But women just don't understand this. And now the odd numbers are getting weird. So like last night, Aiden and I had to take Aiden to the bathroom as I always do, and there's only a 2-piece, so there's 1 and 2. It was fine because we could both occupy a urinal, but those are rando because when you walk in and someone's on 1 and all your options are 2, and this was a tight corner too, like. Like I could, like for Aiden, I can reach over and help sometimes. Like, and that's not where you want to be.
Okay.
I once, while we're on urinals, at work, I was in the bathroom, obviously at the urinal, and somebody obviously I worked with came in, higher up person than me. This is actually, like 10 years ago now. And someone a higher up position worked with me, and so I'm at the urinal, back to the door, obviously, because they're not usually facing the door, right? And guy walks in and slaps me on the shoulder as he sidles up to his urinal, and that's just, don't touch me when I'm touching me. Like that's, I don't need that in my life. Okay.
Oh my goodness, this is way too much information for me.
All right, here's fact number 4. Men desperately want you to toss us things instead of just handing them to us.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know
So
that.
toss me the keys. Toss me a beer, although don't throw it because you're not really good at that. Yeah. So yeah.
I'll work on that one.
Number 7. Men just want to be alone, right? It's not that we don't want to be around you. It's just that we don't want to be around anybody for a little bit.
I know that you're like that.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Zippers. So men always pull the zipper away from our crotch before zipping up.
I only know that because of the Something About Mary movie.
Yeah. And so this one guy here in this article I have is telling a story. My wife at the time once reached over to zip up my pants, and I had a near heart attack from the instant. In real fear, she would zip where she wasn't supposed to. Now, you learn this at a fairly young age, and so this is intuitive, but women apparently don't have this issue, and so you need to understand that that's what's going to happen when there's zipping going on.
Is this article from Men's Health?
No.
Oh.
I can't explain this one, but it's a truth. All men have a desire to touch the top of the door frame when they walk in.
So I thought you were going with that.
Sorry?
Nothing.
I mean, you have to clue the audience in. They don't know what's happening right now.
I can't say it out loud.
Okay. Well, they have a desire to touch the top of the door frame when they enter into a room.
What if they're not that tall? Do they still have that desire?
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes, men, we don't care where we go to eat because we're just hungry and want food. If you
are like this.
If you could just pick a place now, that would be great.
And we have this problem every single weekend with our children.
Yeah. This is another urinal thing. No matter how much you shake and dance, the last 2 drops always go in your pants. It's a fact. It's a fact of life.
Gross.
It's a fact. It's a rule. It's a fact of life. So those are some things that you need to. I'm still concerned about where the door frame. I don't understand what happened there.
You said all men have a desire to touch the top of, and I was not sure what the next word was going to be.
The door frame. I don't know what you thought it was going to be.
I can't say it out loud.
Okay. Are any of those facts surprising to you? Did you learn anything you didn't already know?
The tossing thing, I did not know.
Okay, yeah, it's cooler. Like, hit me with a 5-yard out in the kitchen with with the snack versus just handing it to me.
Okay, and touching the door frame, is that just you guys showing that you're
I think so. Everyone just has to come in and touch the door frame. Yeah. As you remember, you used to yell at me all the time because I'd have like fingerprint marks on the top of the doors.
We actually have fingerprint marks on many of our doors.
I don't think that's
at the top.
From me though.
Yeah, I think the bedroom one was from when they replaced the door.
Yeah, I think that. Well, the kids also want me not to lift them up so they can do it too. So I'm not sure that should always be my burden. So we learned a lot here. We learned that you women are just, I guess,
vindictive,
cruel. I mean, that's just a mean. These are just things that you need to know about. None of these are like tricks against women for some reason. But you guys are just sending fake grocery store lists.
Yeah, we can be like that. I'm nice though.
I should start doing that to you then, just lacing in something on the grocery list that doesn't exist.
Sometimes you do send me like with weird beer requests that I can't find.
To be fair, you can't. I mean,
I know I have a hard time finding the beer in general.
Well, there are things that I often put on the list and that they confuse you.
Yes.
So, I actually enjoy the grocery store. I may be an odd.
Without the children.
Well, ideally, yeah. Ideally, I actually miss that because that's the only time I can get the things that I want. Because when I'm like, hey, can you pick me up like, I don't know, a bag of chips or something, right? Like you either get the wrong flavor or the wrong brand. the wrong date. They're expired. It's a fiasco.
We actually go to the grocery store on our date night sometimes just to do it without the kids.
That was a sad fact. I don't think we had to share with the audience. Well, great. On that point, let's go to a commercial.
My dad and mom answer your questions. I'm glad somebody talks to them.
All right, some questions this week, Stephanie. Some people have asked, are you prepared to answer these questions? Have you seen these questions? Do you know they exist?
I know they exist. I think I'm prepared. I'm not sure if I know all of them.
All right. So I'll start with some of the easier ones then. Kristen writes in, and she was quite sad watching the end of Dwayne Wade's playing career. He retired. His last game was this past week. Really good farewell tour. A lot of folks came out to watch him play. At the end of every game, he exchanged a jersey with somebody. He actually went out playing well. He played more games this year than he'd played in a long time. So his body held up. Obviously, the Heat did not make the playoffs, of course, and that's a bummer. But Kristen wants to know favorite athlete of all time.
I do want to say real quick before I tell you my favorite athlete. I really liked I think it was the Nike commercial. Nike was the one that did the commercial with the three.
That was Budweiser.
Oh, Budweiser.
Yeah, they're close.
Where they did hit the 3 top jersey switches.
Yeah.
I actually cried in that.
That was a good commercial. Yeah, that's one of the better marketing campaign items I've seen in a long time, and I see a lot.
And I cry in all commercials, TV shows, everything. So. Anyway, so my top player. Do you want to do yours first?
No, you're talking.
Okay. So I'm not that big into sports, but obviously they're on in my house all the time. So I picked Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors.
I'm just hoping you get all this correct. This is going to be interesting.
Me too.
Okay.
Maybe I like him because his name starts the same as mine. But I also just like him as a person.
Well, I also hate to break your heart. That's actually not his real first name.
Yes, I know. It's his middle name, though, isn't it?
Stephen is his middle name, yes.
So the Steph part is the same as mine.
That's fair.
Anyway, so...
By the way, did I just blow some people's minds when I told you that's not his real first name, you think?
It might.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me what his real first name is?
Wardell.
Yeah, I can see why he goes with Stephen.
His dad is named Wardell. He's actually I think he's the second. Although technically I don't know if his dad has the same. So he's named after his dad. His dad was known by the name of Dell, D-E-L-L.
And his dad played basketball.
He did, yeah. Very well for a while.
So one of the things I really liked was Under Armour.
Oh, wow. Two for two.
I had to think about that. I almost said Nike again.
Yeah. Well, you got them confused with Budweiser, so I'm just glad you've got that. At least you're on the same genre of gear.
Steph Curry designs certain shoes for Under Armour with his name on it, right?
I mean, I'm not sure he personally designs them, but yes, they are designed on his behalf.
So a girl wrote him saying that she didn't understand why there was no little girl sneakers under his brand, I guess you would say.
You would say that, yeah.
And he wrote her right back personally and said that he was going to talk to Under Armour and fix that because he didn't want it to be a gender stereotype type of thing, that basketball was for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really sweet. And then I saw his wife helped open another restaurant in Miami, and he made sure that even though he was in the middle of playing, it was basketball season.
Yeah, he
was there for her opening as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And he does other good things I know around the community, and
a lot of good things. This always reminds me of so you've done this before. Let's travel back in time. We're like circa 2002 maybe. And
I couldn't believe
you and I were having a conversation about how all athletes are probably not nice people and do all kinds of not nice things. And you were like, I don't think so. And I was listing you all kinds of different things. And you swore to me, there is no way on earth that Kobe Bryant would ever do anything bad to anybody ever. And then lo and behold, a couple years later, Kobe got himself in some issues. Now, I'm not trying to say that Steph Curry will find himself in that same situation. And he certainly has proven up to this point to be a very good role model. He's a darn good basketball player. One could argue, Stephanie, I don't know who would, but one could argue that he has single-handedly changed the way the NBA is played.
How?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Stephanie, because pre-Steph Curry, dunks, big men were sort of the in vogue. Everyone wanted to try to dunk and posterize somebody, and he came in and started shooting like 30-footers, right? And he made them all the time. So now a lot of kids these days, they're all about that pull-up game, that crossover, pull-up from 30, and they're less about trying to go to the rack, as they call it there, and dunk the basketball. I don't want to use too many basketball terms and lose the audience here. And so one could argue that he's changed the game significantly in the last 5 to 10 years.
Well, see, I chose a good one. I also really like his eyes.
I'm glad we do more sports breakdowns. I don't know who my favorite is. This is a tough one. I mean, I watch a ton of sports. I have a lot of athletes over time. Wade was certainly a good choice. I mean, he left Miami because he was mad we didn't pay him for a while in Chicago, and that didn't work out too well, so he kind of put that against him. I guess for now, you know who and this feels weird to say this because I just feel like a creeper, I suppose. But probably the person that from an athlete standpoint would be my favorite or my top person right now would be Mackenzie Milton from UCF. Wow. And I feel bad because he's like 21 years old and I'm a grown man.
And he may not play again.
And he might not play again. But I don't think it's been a long time. For those of you who don't know, Mackenzie Milton is the quarterback of my beloved UCF Knights. And we've had a pretty good 2-year run with him at quarterback. And this past season, he had a devastating knee injury and tore his PCL and LCL and dislocated his kneecap and had some nerve and artery damage and had to go through a lot of surgeries and almost lost his leg and yada, yada, yada. And as I often do, Steph, we were watching that game together. And when he got hit, I don't think I've been that upset in a long time. Like I physically didn't know what to do for a period of time there too. So I guess I'll go Mackenzie Milton just because it's kind of right now. But mine changes all the time.
Yeah, I think you have one for each sport probably.
It depends on like who's playing. Like who's playing right now. Growing up, I loved Scottie Pippen as a player. He's retired. Spoiler alert. So it depends on who's playing right now, what season we're in, what team I'm rooting for at that point. It all depends.
Does it also change for you if you loved a certain player and then years later things come out about that player? Does that change your perception?
No, we're going to talk about that in a second. I can separate the artist from the art, if you will.
Got it.
Because I don't know. Sometimes that's. But I will tell you this: if I like you as a player and then you leave my team, you're dead to me.
LeBron,
ever since he left Scott Frost, you're dead to me. I mean, once you leave my beloved team, you're just dead to me. Don't bother coming back.
Yeah. In case you don't know, Adam does that in all things. Like if you mess with him, you're dead to him. If you bother him.
It's worked out well. Let's talk about this then. So this is an interesting one. Kristen also wrote in that she was watching the Masters today. For those of you who will be listening to this at some point in time, Tiger Woods has won the Masters, his first major tournament in I think 11, 12 years now. And a lot of people out there in the Twitterverse were talking about this particular situation as, do you root for Tiger? So for those of you who may have been living in some sort of a bomb shelter for the last decade plus, Tiger was, to your point earlier, Steph, one of the most popular athletes of all time. He was just mowing down the golf courses here and there. And then got himself in a little bit of a personal dilemma. It was determined that he had, I don't know, roughly 19 or 20 affairs and cheated on his wife and was,
sex addict
potentially. I mean, that's the go-to move, though, whenever you get caught doing something. You're an addict or something, right? Which I'm not opining on that. But he's now won. But there are certain people. He also had a bit of a pill problem. He got, I think he got arrested a couple years ago for DUI. And so people are curious, what are we allowed to root for Tiger as a female? What are your thoughts on are you allowed to root for Tiger? Do you feel you saw the match this morning? You saw him win, and he was with his kids, and obviously those are the kids with his ex-wife, who of course he had the affairs on, yada yada yada. What do you do with all this information? Well,
the game or tournament was on in every room of the house.
All right, here we go again with this. Here we go again. But it was literally only on in 2 rooms, right? Because I was downstairs and then I went upstairs, and
so I was watching. You didn't have it on in here too?
I did not. No.
Oh. Anyways,
can I get an apology, please? Because you do this all the time, where you all of a sudden Adam always blah 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 blah, and then when we actually sit down and cover the facts, you were dead wrong. But that's fine.
I am sorry for my wrongness.
How was that brunch?
Anyways, I was kind of rooting for him at the end. And when at the very end, when he won and he went running and picked up his son in his arms, I had tears in my eyes. And like, I was glad that he won because I know that he's worked really hard in the last few years to get back. So, I guess sport wise, like I was fine with him winning.
Okay. What about non-sport wise?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really thinking about all the other problems that he's had.
Well, so then, same question you asked me earlier. Then, can you root for somebody like Tiger, who hasn't? I mean, other than the DUI situation, I mean, he didn't was never really in trouble from the law. I mean, there wasn't like a big scandal. This isn't or I guess there was a big scandal. I guess this isn't a crime of any sort, really. I mean, sure, there's some moral things that went wrong here, but you can live with that kind of stuff. You're good with that?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be married to that man, but sports-wise, like, I think he's good for the game.
He's good for the game?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Like, just even watching the game, like, I'm turning my head towards the TV.
He's not.
Like,
He's actually not playing in this Portland, Oklahoma City basketball game, just so you know.
But I'm just watching how excited everyone was and, like, how much energy it brought to the game of golf. I think that it was good.
Okay. Yeah, I look, he didn't cheat on me, so I'm good with him. Again, I'm not saying that I would mimic my life after his life choices and make the same said choices, but I can still appreciate that he's a good athlete and he's a good golfer, and it was a good story to see him win. So I can separate out the artist from the art, but a lot of people can't do that kind of stuff.
Well, what if your son was a golfer and like Tiger Woods was his
First
favorite?
of all, Aiden's going to be a golfer.
No,
okay. He's barely off the couch, let alone golfing, but that's fine.
But like Tiger Woods was like the golfer that he looked up to and idolized. Like, would you be okay with that?
It's the Charles Barkley argument, right? Athletes shouldn't be role models. You should admire their competitiveness, their skills, but if you're looking for role models, you should probably find people who you can know better and have a better influence on your life. It's always weird when you meet or you see athletes meeting somebody and like, I've always looked up to you, I've always admired you. Yeah, you don't know that person, right? You don't really ever know anybody. And so I guess I would always caution Aiden to not idolize a player from a personal standpoint. You can idolize their game, you can idolize their skills, their competitiveness, how hard they work, stuff like that. But to say that I'm gonna be just like that person, I think is a slippery slope.
I agree.
Thank you.
That was good.
I appreciate it. I've been giving it some thought. But now, again, to your point, there's people like a Steph Curry who are out there doing great things in the community all the time. A lot of athletes come to mind that they have charitable things that they do. They're always, J.J. Watt raised like $38 million for the victims in Houston, and obviously that's a great thing. LeBron opened a school in Akron where kids, their test scores just came back and they're doing way better than ever. And so there are certainly good things that athletes do, but I think it's also just a slippery slope. You should find people who, you can idolize for maybe the qualities that they have that you get to physically know and see and observe, versus just because so-and-so can shoot or so-and-so can throw a football, that's, who you should be kind of modeling your game after. But there's no way he's playing golf.
I don't really want him to play golf because I can't stand watching it, but I do want him to play something.
Why can't he play golf?
It's so boring to watch. Maybe if it's my own kid, it won't be, but.
So you prefer he play a faster paced action game?
Yeah, like soccer, football, basketball, volleyball.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed. I mean, golf is slow and it's a relaxing, kind of sitting around doing nothing situation for a while. But
baseball and golf drive me crazy.
Yeah, baseball's tough.
We watched Aiden play baseball last year. It was rough.
It was not good.
Try and play baseball.
No, it was not good. He was not the strongest of the baseball players, and that's for darn sure. All right, the other question, this came from our good friend Jimmy from Indiana. Jimmy was scrolling through the interwebs and found a story that he thought was interesting. He wanted to get our opinion on, more so maybe your opinion than mine.
See, they do listen for me.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Jimmy voted for me. Thank you, Jimmy.
Well, it's because he works for you.
And he doesn't work for me.
No, he works with you.
And Mrs. K voted for me.
Oh, Mrs. K.
To be fair, I don't think he told her what it was. He just said, just click this. Yeah, I actually, she didn't vote for me initially, and he went home and was like, hey, I'm going to need you to vote. So
Well, that was nice of him to help.
The support is appreciated. The rest of you dead to me, but anyway. So Jimmy saw a story where a young lady proposed to her boyfriend. So the woman proposed to the man. Now, before all of the like Me Too people come out, I'm not saying that's not a good thing and that, women shouldn't be empowered to take control of their own lives and do their own things and make their own decisions and, sisterhood, whatever. I'm all for it. But it's atypical. Could we agree on that?
Yes.
And so the question was, is that okay to do? Is there ever a scenario where you would opine or give somebody guidance that they should propose to their boyfriend?
I'm okay with it. I'm pretty sure on the show Friends, doesn't Monica propose to Chandler?
Yeah. Real quick though, that's not real life.
I know.
I didn't know
I
didn't want to break this to you. I didn't know if you didn't know. They don't live in New York. That's not true.
Totally know that. I am okay with the woman proposing to the man. And in fact, if you hadn't have asked me to marry you, I probably would have asked you.
Yeah,
and
right.
Not
Dude,
right.
Come on.
Not right then. And I wouldn't have had a diamond ring for you or anything, but I would have said, hey, let's get married.
I don't get a diamond ring.
I said you won't.
1000%. I call BS on that.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way you would have done that.
I would have.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm okay with like taking the garbage out every Sunday night. Like I'm not one of those women that's like has to be doing only the women's role.
Garbage and proposals.
You know
what? They are actually a lot alike. I had never seen it before.
I'm not one of those women that has to only be in
say that.
Women's role.
I'm not saying that it had any, I just don't think you would have done that. I think you would have held out. I also think you're a traditionalist in the sense that you would have wanted to wait like the fairy tale situation where the man, the knee, the ring, the whole 9 yards.
I don't
that's what I'm calling nonsense on. Not that you don't take the garbage out. Congratulations on all the garbage.
Never had this thing of like what I thought my proposal would look like.
I just think that's risky, man. Like, as dudes are unpredictable. I mean, you heard about the urinal stuff. You can only imagine what's going to happen when a proposal's in front of your face.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, you have to definitely know that the guy is ready for that.
Dudes
that could scare them away forever.
Yeah, I mean, dudes are unpredictable. I don't know how it turned out either. I guess I should ask Jimmy if we know how that transpired. I just don't know if I would have advised that. And not that unless you know for sure that the dude's gonna say yes, then okay, yeah. I just think dudes are unpredictable.
They are. And do we have any update on your friend's proposal?
It hasn't happened yet. He's got a date and a time. It's he's waiting for a specific time frame.
Got it.
Based on their relationship history, I guess,
Got it.
And some things that are upcoming. So, not coming soon.
Not coming soon.
Not in the next couple of weeks.
So I shouldn't keep asking.
You can keep asking. I can just keep you updated if you want to know.
Okay.
But no, nothing there. Now, unless she proposes to him first, I don't know.
Oh, that's an idea.
I don't think that'll happen. So you agree though it's risky to ask a guy,
because guys can definitely have what's that called, relationship. No, I want to say relationship phobia. That's not there, but commitment phobia, commitment issues.
I'm sure there's relation. I'm sure somebody will be like, "Of course, Stephanie, it's a real thing," and I laughed at you, and I'm gonna be mean again.
Commitment issues.
There are probably some guys with some commitment issues. Yes. For sure.
I didn't have that problem. Luckily, at 22, you wanted to be committed.
Is that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
Or he just wanted a designated driver for the rest of his life.
I told you the story on why I proposed.
Yeah, you said we never broke up.
Well, that's also true. Am I wrong?
It was like, that was just the next step because we never broke up.
Well, yes, but I had a very specific reason. I had an epiphany of sorts as to why I decided to propose. I've told you that story.
Yes, because you knew that you were going into the job world and you wanted wherever that new job was for me to go with you.
You're welcome.
I would have gone with you either way.
I mean, I guess I wanted to solidify that, and so I figured I would ask because I didn't know if you would go. But I don't think if it was reversed, right? Like, let's say you were going to go find, or you had a job or something was happening for you, I don't think you would have proposed to me to get me to go with you, right? You'd have been like, hey, I got offered this job in, Boynton, and I gotta, I'm gonna have to move down there. Like, how would you have handled that? Would you have proposed? Would you have been like, we should just get married? It's risky.
I probably wouldn't have proposed at that point, but I would have just expected you to move too.
I'm sorry? I would have just been expected to move?
Yeah, like I would have just expected that you would come where I was going.
Wow. Why would you have expected that?
Because we were like a team.
Wait, okay. And so I was just going to just go.
Yeah. Just like when you said, I'm going to California. We're a team.
Well, we were married at that point. Yeah.
We had children, but
I'm glad you do a really good job of like drawing some similarities, marriage, garbage. You really paint some really good parallels there that I greatly enjoy. And so the last question we had from somebody was an update on the NCAA tournament bracket challenge that we ran. Pleased to announce that our good friend Justin Meyer was the winner.
Congrats, Justin.
And he's tweeting and asking or texting or messaging, I'm not sure the right form he used there, what his prize is. I have a really special prize for Justin.
Are we having Pam throw a pie in his face? His wife?
Well, he won. I'm not sure if that's. I'm all Pam. If you're listening, I'm all for it. If you want to hit him with a pie, but I have something I think we can send him. I think I have something for him. I don't want to say it now because I want to. Maybe we'll send it to him and ask him to like record a quick little video or a message that we can play when he receives the surprise. But okay. I think I have something for him. But unless Pam's willing to do pie in the face.
Yeah, I'll have to communicate with her on that.
It would feel weird, though. Like, honey, congratulations. You won the bracket challenge. Here's a Boston cream to your nose. It would just seem a little weird. I'm not opposed to it, but it would just – so let me ask you this question then really quickly. Now, we're on an interesting subject because I also wouldn't mind throwing a pie in Justin's face as well.
We could fly there. That could be our gift.
Well, I'm not going to fly there to throw a pie in his face. But if you could throw – other than me, obviously, because I've already gotten the pie. If you could throw a pie – in anybody else's face, I'll give you two other people that you can pie in the face. Who you getting and why?
I'm definitely getting Addison, our daughter.
Wow.
Because she is just as sarcastic as you and likes to make it known that I embarrass her, that my face is embarrassing according to her. And then today she says, "Can you walk with me to?" She was eating a Snowy and she wanted more syrup. And she was like, "Can you walk with me?" And I was like, "Sure." So I was like, "Adam, can you watch Aiden?" He said, "Yeah." We start walking and she goes, "I was actually talking to Dad. I didn't want you to come with me." So she's definitely the first one on my list.
Well, I mean, isn't that like child abuse? Are you allowed to do that?
I'm not physically hurting her.
Well, I mean, do you think like the law enforcement officials would feel good about you throwing a pie in an 11-year-old's face?
I think once
Are you going to run up to her like you did me?
Probably not. I won't run with the full force.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's fair. I mean, I guess I could see your point.
You don't ever want to sometimes throw a pie in her face?
Yeah, I happen to enjoy Addison. And you're in luck. We have Addison right here. Addison, bring it on in for a second. Addison, bring it on in. I'm going to have you come on. Addison, stand over there close up. I have some interesting news I want to share with you that we just learned on the podcast. Come on over. Don't be shy. Go over that, Mike. Over there. So your mother and I were talking. You know how I got a pie in the face recently? Mm-hmm. Your mother and I were just talking about if she could throw a pie in anybody else's face, who would she want to throw a pie in the face of? And honey, I've got some bad news.
She said me.
She picked you.
See, you already knew it was coming.
How do you want to stand in front of that, Mike? How do you feel about learning that your mother wants to throw a pie in your face?
I want to throw it back at her.
Okay, so then So are we filming this? Are we doing a pie a mother-daughter pie challenge?
We might have to. She's been saying she wanted the competition.
Okay, so Addison, are you in on the mother-daughter pie? So are we putting this on a poll? I know you love to put stuff on the poll, Stephanie. Let's make a poll. I'm gonna put a poll up. Which of you two would the audience rather see have the other person throwing the pie in the face of, right?
Well, then they're going to pick me.
No, yes, and you would throw in Mommy's face. Oh. So what would they rather see? Addison throw a pie in Stephanie's face or Stephanie throw a pie in Addison's face?
Oh, wait. This isn't fair because nobody's going to pick a child to get a pie thrown in there.
Gee, I wonder.
That's the good part.
Gee, I wonder how it feels when someone has to. It's not fair that a man throwing a pie in a woman's face. Somehow you won that one.
He's fighting with me over the
She is fighting on the mic. We should really film this. So we're gonna put it on the poll.
Oh no.
Stephanie to throw a pie in Addison's face.
Can't we just throw it at each other?
No. How's that gonna work?
You're losing.
Oh, I'm going down already?
All right, you heard it here first, Addison. Thanks for coming by. I'll put it on the poll. Get your friends to vote.
They don't have Instagram.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out then. So people then, because Addison, it's a good point. She doesn't have friends who are able to go out on Facebook and Instagram, so she needs other people to vote for her.
And she can't get on Facebook or Instagram.
Right, so people of Earth, you're going to need to vote for Addison then.
Or me.
She needs your, no, you're fine. She needs your help because she's already at a disadvantage here.
Your friends have Facebook, Instagram. You don't have Instagram, but you can vote for yourself on Facebook.
You can.
I can.
Addison cannot, though.
Exactly.
So Addison, give the listeners a plea. Make sure they vote for you. Say something to have them vote for you.
Please vote for me.
There you go. You heard it here first. Please vote for Addison. So that's on the poll. Okay, so you want to throw. We'll see how that goes out. Anybody else you want to throw a pie in the face of?
Oh boy, I don't really have anyone else.
Okay.
I
Addison wants the brother. Now we're getting. He's 6. I mean, come on.
Can't pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't.
There were some people who your friends of yours who voted for me. You know.
Oh yeah, Kristen.
Uh-oh.
She's coming here in a few weeks.
I'm putting it on the poll. We making another poll. Who do you want to see have pie in the face, Stephanie or Kristen? Yeah.
But she did vote for you.
She did.
She totally.
It was a wise choice. I've always liked Kristen. It was a
Yeah.
wise choice on her part.
I still love you, Kristen.
Okay. So it's just Addison and then maybe Kristen.
Yeah, but me, really just Addison.
Okay. All right, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. So exciting news then. This is going to go on the poll for next week. This is going to be great. We'll see who gets a pie in the face. So you're going to say you
don't have 2 people?
I have more than 2. I mean, we don't have time left in the show for me to tell you how many people I would throw a pie in the face of. Justin would be great. I'd love to see Justin get a pie in the face. Man. Burbs would be good because he takes so much time with his hair to get that stuff together. I mean, that would be fun. I got a bunch of people at work. I mean, I might need a whole like a pie truck like to drive into my work parking lot one day. Okay. Get a lot of people who get a pie. Yeah.
I guess it's good that I don't have a long list.
Well, it's not as fun as having a long list. So I'm gonna be really excited. We're gonna put this on the poll to figure out who's getting a pie. More pies in the face in the Eaton household is exactly what we need. So again, check out our Facebook page, check out our Instagram page, see what's happening, and we'll vote. Addison's looking to win, and she's back in the room again. She's not speaking though, or she's not. Okay, so
do you want to say something?
I can throw a pie in Mom's face without getting in trouble.
Oh, this is an interesting point. This is the only opportunity she might have. You, the listener, have the power to absolve Addison of any future punishment if you simply just vote for her. There's nothing Stephanie can do. She's powerless to do anything about it.
I can still turn off iPad time. I'll get it from Daddy.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get dragged into this. I'm a neutral observer. I love you both, and I don't want to see either one of you with a pie. But if we have to have somebody get a pie in the face, remember, vote Addison.
I do in the face.
I was there.
That's why he was pointing at
That's why I was pointing at you. You ruined my end of the show because I was going to end it on that, but then you start talking again. So now I have to re-end the show. So thanks for listening. Up and Adam Podcast with Stephanie. Find us on Instagram. And vote. Vote often. Vote early. Vote Addison.